Yay! I think we are live over on Facebook. Hello, hello. Say hello as you're jumping on. I did not have any time to make my title look great on Facebook, so I'll just use all my action calls now and then I'll update them later. I wanted to do this from my computer, and so you'll have to forgive me for being in my bathroom and the lighting that I had. I wanted to have the cuter background for you guys, but the Lord had other plans for me. Okay. So this is what we're doing. We're going to make it work tonight. And that is a huge part of just running your own business, right? Is just figuring it out, making it work, going with the flow. One thing though I can't see right now is your comments. So I am going to go ahead and pull up the live on Facebook so that I can read your comments as you say hello to me. Hi, Emily. Hi, Kimberly. Hello, hello. So, the lighting looks way better on Facebook. That's good. So the reason why I wanted to come to you from Zoom tonight is because I want to be able to share my screen with you here in a minute and be able to share a PowerPoint for those of you who want to follow along with a visual aid, because I have the honor and privilege of delivering a disc profile training to you tonight. And there's quite a bit of info. So I want to make sure that I can cater to each style's learning needs so that you can retain this info in the best way possible. And that way you can come back and watch this later and have that visual representation to follow along with. So we're going to be streaming from my computer here, and I'm going to be sharing my screen here in just a minute. So let's go ahead and get ready. This again is going to be a disc profile training. I'll give you guys a little background on who I am in just a second and why you should care about what we're going to talk about today. So let me go ahead and pull up my presentation and get it shared over to you guys. And this is a previous presentation that I made. So I'm just repurposing here, reusing, right? Repurposing content. And I just threw it into Canva for you in the last few minutes because I decided that you guys needed visual representation for this. So that'll tell you a little bit about my personality style by the time that we're done with this. But this is going to give you a way to bring people back and really learn and implement this information, because here's the deal. Learning disc profile can be a game changer for your business. If you're watching with me on Facebook, go ahead and drop the word game changer in the comments. Tag any of your friends or downlines that you think needs to see this. Let them know that you found something that can truly change the way that they are having relationships with their customers and with their team members. Hi, Jasmine. Thanks for hopping on live. So here I'm going to go over just a little bit about who I am, because I think that it's important that you can connect with your trainer and understand where they're coming from. And when you do that, I feel like you are more receptive to the content that they're giving. So you'll see here that my theme is be unapologetically you. This is a, example of me in a nutshell. I am all about like anything extra and fun and bubbly and exciting and glittery, right? So that speaks into part of my personality style. And we'll talk about that here in just a second. But I'm also a wife. I've been married to my husband almost 9 years now. We've been together for almost 14. I am also a mother of 3. So I do have 3 young children. I have a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And I am a boutique owner. I've owned my own boutique for a little over 5 years now. We were brick and mortar storefront for a long time, but we recently closed that because Synergence is actually our full-time income now. I have a multi-million-dollar global team that I am so honored to be their leader. They have done over $50 million in retail sales, and I have the honor of holding the title with Synergence of Sapphire Empress, which means that they did over $12 million in just one seminar a year. And I'm also an international public speaker with Synergence because I have the opportunity to travel and train with Synergence as a certified field trainer. They've had me go to Canada and Mexico, and it's been really fun. So I fall into the category of ID personality. And what that means is I typically, dominantly, am an ID. So what I want to do is I want to stop sharing here for just a second, because I see over on Facebook that you guys can't actually see my face. And I really want you to be able to connect with me and hear some of this. We'll go back to the screen in just a minute whenever we need to. But I want to have just a conversation with you, because I think the biggest, like the most important thing to take from this training is that DISC profile is not about categorizing people, not categorizing yourself, not categorizing others, not labeling them one thing or another, but really learning about their communication style. So I actually was introduced to DISC when I was 18, and I joined another direct sales company, and we utilized that DISC profile to be able to connect and relate to our customer base and our team members. And I loved it so much at the age of 18 that I started implementing it in every aspect of my life. So into my relationship, sorry, real life is happening over here. Honey, can you open the door and go get daddy, please? Sorry, real life. Like I said, mom of 3 here. I have a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. So I can only, like, good luck. We will see what happens throughout the rest of this training, right? But bear with me and we'll keep it going. You too can be successful. Never let your children be the reason that you don't. Always let the reason be the reason that you will, right? Let them be the reason that you show up. And I think someone probably needs to hear that tonight. So, when I was introduced to this, it really was it really changed everything that I knew about creating relationships, right? Because you are going to make decisions dominantly based on what you typically, like your behavioral style. And sometimes we can't figure out like why the other person doesn't get it the way we get it, right? We can't understand like, how do they not see it this way? Or why did they think it that way? Or why did we take it that way, right? Sometimes we take things personally when it's really not a personal attack. It's more just a communication, like a miscommunication, I should say, right? A situation where we're not understanding what they're communicating, right? And so for an example, you've heard the things opposites attract, right? So for example, my husband and I, we have very different personalities when it comes to the way that we make decisions, or when it comes to the way that we like to communicate, when it comes to the way that we, go for certain situations. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have the same end goal, right? Like we both, like for instance, let's say, I can't even think of an example when it comes to parenting because I don't want to do something wrong here, but an example with a parenting, maybe my style of attacking an issue with parenting is completely different from his, but the end goal is that we both love the child and we both want what's best for the child. Does that make sense? But behavioral and communication styles might be different. The way that we handle it might be different. And I'm going to explain this in a way that you're going to understand it in your business here in just a second, okay? But what I want you to really hear, what I'm saying is that if you really learn DISC personality and you really make it part of your communication, you can actually change not only your business, but your entire life. You can have more effective communication with your children, with your spouses, with your friends, with your family, with your customers, with your team members, right? And overall, that's going to build healthier relationships. So this is huge because if you can learn to take in information and deliver information in the best way possible that the person that you're speaking to needs to receive it, you're golden, right? I'm going to shut this door really quick. Give me just a second. Okay, the door is shut, but there is definitely crying happening in there. Don't worry, my husband is in there. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So let's explain this. If you're sitting down with someone, the best way that you can learn, because there are tests out there, right? I'm sure, raise your hand if you've taken a DISC profile test before. Probably, right? Synergence has offered DISC personality tests before, and we've had great trainings on them. And some of you might have had the opportunity to learn those directly from those trainers. And maybe you've taken the test and you know your personality style. If you do, go ahead and drop that in the comments for me. If you don't, I'm going to show you an easy way that you can kind of guess your style as well as someone else's based on what your answer would be to one simple question, right? So let me give you an example. And I see a couple of people raising their hands in the comments that you know your style. Great. So instead of having, because you can't sit down with someone at coffee and expect them to take a whole test for you, right? And you can't expect every downline. Let's say that you're mass recruiting and you have 15 new recruits. Okay, you're not going to have the ability to address each one of them individually and figure out their communication style. But there is a way that you can ask them a simple question, and based on their responses, you can kind of identify who they might be, right? Their best communication style. So for example, if you were to sit down with them and say, so tell me about yourself, Write that down because that's literally the most important sentence that I'm going to say this entire training. So tell me about yourself, right? If you say, so tell me about yourself, based on their response, there's going to be 4 typical ways that they respond. Based on their response, you can basically determine what their dominant personality style is, and that will help you take the conversation to the place that it needs to go in the way that it's going to be most effective for them. Okay? So the good news is, 1, you learn yourself, you become self-aware of what your style is. 2, you begin to learn what others are. Then you can be aware of where you need to step into a certain part of your style that you don't dominantly access, okay? So everyone has traits from all 4 styles. Everyone has the ability to access all 4 styles, but you choose and prefer and function out of a dominant personality style. And then you have an adaptive, okay? So for example, if I said, so tell me about yourself, and you answered, oh, I'm the vice president of the local bank, and I am also in the PTA, and I, graduated college with a 4.0 in my master's and blah, 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 right? And also a wife and a mom and blah, blah, blah. That's your D personality. Do you know why? There's a little giveaway here that she did, and that is recognition and ranks. If she goes directly towards recognition, ranks, titles, things like that, that's typically a D personality. So what you need to know is that this person values recognition, ranks, titles, achievements, productivity, right? So you just take that in your mind so that whenever it's your turn in the conversation to speak, you know that those are the things that you're going to speak into. So this is a potential prospect that we're talking about. She's agreed to come to coffee with you. She's agreed to hear you out on why you love what you do so much. And now you need to know where to take the conversation next, right? So if you say, so tell me a little bit about yourself, maybe you already know. That's okay. You can say, I know that I know what I know, but I don't know what I don't know. So tell me about yourself. Just tell me like we don't know each other. Tell me like we just met. I want to know a little bit about your life, right? And if she goes towards those D titles, then you know, okay, she's probably a D, right? If she's like, oh, I don't know, like, what do you want to know? Like, I'm kind of all over the place. I don't know. I love to have girls' night outs. I'm in a bunco group and it's so much fun. I love pink and sparkles. I love this. If she's talking about her interests or her hobbies, she's probably an I. And if she's a little bit all over the place, she's talking about like current events and situations in life, she's probably an I. And what that means is that she is, kind of like this fun, bubbly, inspirational person. So where you're going to want to take that person is you're going to want to speak into that part of your business, right? And we'll explain it a little bit more, but let me get to the S. If I said, so tell me about yourself, and she answers going straight for the people that she loves and straight where her loyalties are, and she's putting others before herself. She's like, oh, I'm married. I've been married for this long. I have this many children. She's telling you their names, what they do, where they live, right? That is probably your S personality. So she puts a high importance on others, right? She's all about support and loyalty and all of those things, which we're going to go into. But I am taking notes. She said family first. She's probably an S, right? If she continues to speak into like, oh, I am, I volunteer for this, or I'm part of this church group or whatever, I'm taking those notes in my head going, okay, S, S, S. I'm picking up on the traits that she's giving me, right? Now, if I said, so tell me about yourself, and she starts from day one, where she was born, where she grew up, how many family members she has, all in chronological order, she's typically my C, okay? So what this has done for me, if I'm having this conversation, she went straight for recognition and ranks, boom, 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 D light bulb went off in my head, okay? If she went for fun and hobbies and like things that she likes to do, I light bulb off in my head, okay? She went straight for family and others and, that she volunteers and things like that. S light bulb, okay? C light bulb, again, chronological order, all the details. So now when it's my turn to talk, because I've been listening this entire time, taking mental notes on where she's going with this conversation, I know what part of my opportunity I need to offer her in order to speak her language. So for my D personality, I'm going to be like, girlfriend, you need to do this business. You already are so successful and you obviously are a natural leader. Like you are holding, so you're a busy woman and you're still doing it. You're killing it. You would be amazing at this business. Did you know that you can earn ranks and recognition and titles and cars and money? Like, you can make really good money. Like, we're talking big girl money. I'm speaking her language. Does that make sense? Because I'm speaking into what a D personality wants, what they need, what they thrive on, right? I'm not giving her all the ins and outs of, all the other things. I'm giving her what she needs. And the D, I'm clicking in her head all things that she values, right? So with an I personality, she just told me she likes fun. She does this with Bunko. She has a huge group of friends. Like, I don't know, right? I don't know what I want to do with my life, right? So that I personality, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need you to be a part of my team because you're just so much fun to be around. Like, I love being around you, and I know that you would be the life of the party. I already know that you have a ton of girlfriends and they all want what you're wearing. So you would be so good at this business because you're like a natural, like, people want what you have, right? So I'm speaking into what she told me. I'm speaking into the things that relate to her. So she has major FOMO. The I personality is to be like, did you say you guys go to seminar and get to dress up and wear crowns? Like, I'm in, sign me up. Right? Your I does not want to be left out. So you just share her the things that you get to do that she's currently not a part of, right? And she's in. Your S, she went straight for her family. She went for who she loves, who she puts before her, why she does these things. So obviously, I'm not going to go for titles and recognition and money when that's not what drives her. I'm not going to tell her she needs to go to seminar and take time away from her family when that's not important to her in this moment, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to speak in to the fact that this opportunity has allowed me to become a stay-at-home mom, to bring my husband home from corporate America, to help him help raise our babies, to take them right on vacations, to be able to provide for their education. So I'm going to speak into what it's allowed me to do for my family because she told me family is important to her. Does that make sense? I'm going to speak exactly into what they told me was important to them and show them where that can align with them with Synergens. And so for the last one with your C personality, all you're going to simply do is tell her all about the resources and all the things that she's going to have access to. Typically, your C is going to come prepared. She's already done research on your opportunity. She already has done research on your products. She already is coming prepared. So you might even just start with, what questions do you have, right? That way you know exactly what she wants to know, and then be prepared yourself. Have a beauty book on hand, know the comp plan, at least have a resource on where to provide them to figure out the comp plan. I have a YouTube video that's 20 minutes or less that does explain the comp plan. It's years old, but it's still a usable resource. But I mean, they're really, the C personality, they want to know, do you know what you're talking about? Are there resources available? Am I going to have a step-by-step guide? Are you going to help me be successful? And the answer is that Synergens does all that for you. So you don't have to put the pressure on yourself to have all those things. You have dots as you're onboarding. You have the back office. You have product knowledge. You have all the things that she's looking for. You just need to reiterate that those things are there, right? So that entire conversation, I'm telling you, right now, the industry standard is that you can recruit 1 in 5 people. I'll tell you what, I recruited 29 in January. Yes, it was free sign up, but I would say I only exposed maybe 30, 35, and 29 said yes. So I'm telling you that you can get really good at building your team if you learn how to communicate what our opportunity has to offer based on what they need. And all that comes from is listening to what is important to them and then relaying the information that you have in a way that they can receive it, right? So that's how important DISC personality can be, just simply in building your team. But you can do this with your customers. You can do this with your downlines. You can do this with your husband, right? You can do this in so many aspects. So another way that you can take this information I just gave you and do it with your customers is you could go, okay, let's have a conversation with Susie Q. All right, Susie, have you ever tried Synergens before? No, what is that, right? Oh my gosh, it's great. We have a full line of color cosmetics as well as skincare. Do you currently use skincare? If so, what do you use? Okay, based on her response and the way that she responds to me, I can probably pick up on what her personality type. If she like just responds like, I don't have time for that, right? She might be a D. She doesn't have time for that, right? So I know that if I want her to use my product, I need to make it as easy as possible. I need to be like, girlfriend, I get you. That's why I use a 3-in-1 cleanser, because it's 3 steps in one. Nobody has time for 3 different steps. Cleanse, exfoliate, tone, boom, done. Throw in some moisturizer and you're good to go. I'm speaking that quick. I don't have time for that language, right? If she's like, no, I just kind of picked up like whatever. I saw one on Instagram that someone recommended, so that's what I've been using. That's probably your eye. If she's buying what the influencers are selling, she's just buying whatever's hot on the market. So you need to show her why she's missing out on what you have. Oh my gosh, you haven't tried Steadiness, girlfriend. This new dry line, seriously, amazing. It's done wonders for my skin. It has this, this, and this in it. It has the newest thing right now in skincare is some kind of, I can't even think of it right now, something about orchid extract stem cells or something like that. It's in our skincare. So you're talking about the newest fun thing that she's missing out on, right? You're speaking in I's language. Same with the S, okay? If she responds with, no, I would love to have skincare, but it's just not really in the budget. I can't really make sense of the price right now. Probably because she's trying to pay for dance lessons or this or that, right? So you're like, listen, I understand that, taking care of ourselves sometimes feels like it can go on the back burner, but I also know that when I feel better about myself, I perform better as a mother, as a human, as a wife, right? And so I can work on a way to help you make this cost effective, but taking care of your skin should not be something that goes on the back burner. So you're speaking into why you understand why she doesn't buy it based on the price, because she's putting others before herself, right? So you help her understand the value and you help her understand how to make it cost effective. Your C personality is going to respond, no, I use this one line and I use it because it has this, this, and this. And does your line have that, that, and that, right? That's your C. So this is the one that you're going to want to be prepared for. You're going to be like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and drop you a link to find the information on my website. It's going to list all the ingredients. It's also going to have some benefits listed. Why don't you read over that and then let me know if you have any questions. By the way, it's made in the USA. It's vegan friendly, gluten-free, never tested on animals. It's non-comedogenic, not going to clog your pores. So you see how I answered the same question 4 different ways based on their response. Your job in learning DISC personality is getting really good at listening. That's the key. Get really good at listening and then recognizing D's are quick, to the point, minor details, boom, 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 right? So what do they want in return? Quick, to the point, minor details, make it easy, boom, 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 right? I's, fun, bubbly, all over the place. They like to be part of the conversation, part of the social game, right? Part of the attention. So you speak to them in the product form like that. You tell them that the hottest color on the market right now is blue red because Christina Aguilera wears it, right? I's care about that. D's don't care, right? S's don't care. So you have to learn, what does a D personality want from me, right? We already figured out how to determine who they are based on that simple conversation. Tell me about yourself, or even if you're asking, do you use skincare, right? Whatever question you're asking, you can learn to determine their behavior style based on the way that they respond to you, right? As long as you're listening well enough, okay? So now that you've determined how to determine who they are, what to say in response to get them to either become a customer or a distributor, now let's talk about, once they're on your team, what do we do with them, right? So if you just recruited that girl at the coffee shop and you've determined that she's a D personality, you know that she wants to do all the things as quickly as she can. So you say, all right, here's our goals. Number 1, get qualified. Number 2, let's set our eyes on core rank. That's going to be Maiden. We're going to help you get some running buddies, get them qualified. You're going to start ranking up. And then number 3, we're going to earn you faster. We're going to get you $1,200 worth of free product in your first 90 days. Okay, that D is going to take that and be like, boom, 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 let's go. What do I need to do, right? Your I, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, welcome to the sisterhood. I'm going to get you added to the team page. I'm going to post your picture. These are our friends, right? You're really working with them on the style of who they are. Your S personality, you're going to be like, don't freak out. You can take this as quick or as slow as you want. You're your boss. I'm only here to support you, and I am going to support you. I don't want this to complicate your life. I want it to complement, right? So we're not going to take time away from your family. We're actually going to give time back to your family. We're going to work on becoming more effective and efficient so that you can be more present with your family, right? And with your C, you're going to be like, don't you worry. I've got everything that you need to learn how to run an effective business. We're going to go through onboarding. You're going to have a full access to dots immediately as soon as you sign up, a back office full of information. You can plug around and play in there. Ask me the questions that you need. Utilize your resources. Do you see how differently I just onboarded one single person based on their personality style? It's really powerful once you learn it, right? So with that, I'm going to go in back to our little thing here, because now you have a basic understanding of the power of DISC. And I'm going to share the rest of my PowerPoint. It's not super long. We're almost done here. But I do want to pull up a couple things that I don't want to miss. So here is some things to note, right? With dominance, okay, your D personality. With dominance, remember that that person places emphasis on accomplishing results, the bottom line, and confidence, right? So their behaviors, as they see the bigger picture, they can be a little bit blunt, they accept challenges, and they get straight to the point. Your I's, that person is full of influence. They place emphasis on their influence, persuading others, openness, and relationships. They can show enthusiasm. They're optimistic. They like to collaborate, and they dislike being ignored. Steadiness, your S, this person places emphasis on cooperation, sincerity, and dependability. They don't like to be rushed. They like a calm manner, a calm approach, and supportive actions. And your C's, the conscientious, they place emphasis on quality and accuracy, expertise, and competency, okay? So they enjoy independence, objective reasoning, wants the details, and fears being wrong. Here's the thing. All you really need to remember, right, is that you need to be self-aware of who you are and how you typically communicate and how that's going to come across to the person that you're talking to, right? So if I know that I am a high DI, I literally only have 1 point difference in my D and my I, and I'm talking to an SC, I have got to make sure that I am not rushing them, that I am taking a calmer approach, that I am being supportive, that I am showing reasoning, right? That I know what I'm talking about. Because if I go straight at them with a typical DI personality, they have written me off in the first 30 seconds. But if I'm self-aware enough to be able to step into my ability to be these things, then I'm able to have a successful conversation with them, okay? So tell me about yourself. We talked about that. So just to recap, their answers, if they go for recognition, awards, and titles, they're typically going to be a D. They go for hobbies, fun, and dreams, probably an I. They go for family, pets, and lifestyle, typically an S. And if they do name, age, and biology, probably a C. Your Ds are going to be goal-oriented, make quick decisions. They are not concerned with facts and feelings. They can be very assertive and confident, but they can also come across as dominating and impatient, right? Your I's are going to be expressive, self-oriented. They make quick decisions. They're not connected with facts and other feelings. They're creative and enthusiastic, but they can also be a bit dramatic and argumentative, right? Your S's are going to be logical, task-oriented. They make slower decisions. They're not concerned as much with your feelings, and they're methodical, cautious, perfectionist, and insensitive. Supportive, relationship-oriented, makes decisions based on other feelings, not concerned with facts. So here you can see a little example. If you can relate, if you think, oh, okay, I'm probably a D, like I like details, I like recognition, I like fast pace, you're going to be like a Madonna in the world of this image, okay? If you're like, I'm here for the party, I like the fun, I like to have fun, right? You're our Dolly Parton, all right? If you're like, oh, I prefer to make slower decisions, make sure I think of others first, like I typically put people first, that's going to be our S, Nicole Kidman here. And then if you are all about the details, you pride yourself on being knowledgeable and thorough, then you're more like a Diane Sawyer, okay? I'm going to skip through some of this and just skip to this part right here. I want you to think in terms of synogens, right? In terms of synogens, how do I use this to get my demos? How do I use this moving forward? You know, every single personality type will book a demo with you if you are advertising it to them in an appropriate manner. So for example, if I want my D personality, right? If I want my quick 5-minute face girl to come to a demo, what kind of demo should I be offering? Okay, well, let's talk about this cupcake cutie one. Cupcakes, basic skincare, 5-minute makeup. Sounds like a good, like, hey, it's just a 30-minute pop-in. We're going to be doing cupcakes, basic skincare, and 5-minute makeup. You just come and go. You can pick it up on your way out. I'm just going to give you quick little tips here and there. That's going to be your D, right? I'm speaking her language. Like come and go, 5-minute makeup, basic skincare, right? Okay, what about mom and me, mother-daughter sessions? Who's going to love a mom and me session? Your S personality. So you're like, oh my gosh, my daughter would love that. It would be so much fun. We definitely want to come to that, right? Okay, let's look for an I. Which ones are our I going to do? Okay, definitely lips and sips, girlfriend. Who wants to come over and have lips and sips? We're going to do lip scents and drinks. And we're going to do a fun little game where everyone brings their bottle of wine. We put stickers on all the wine. Everyone votes for their favorite wine with a sticker. And whoever wins at the end with the yummiest wine gets a free lip sense. But guess what? Before you put lip sense on, they all drink their wine and their lip sense is still on when they get done. Right? Guess what they're all going to want to go home with? Their lip sense. And that's a total I party. Does that make sense? S. Oh, we talked about mom and me. C's. Okay, let's talk about C's. What about, let's see, here's a good one. What about, let's do miracle facials with the mega skincare regimen. A miracle facial is perfect for a C personality because you're going to take her through the entire line of what a miracle facial is going to feel like, right? You're going to get access to trying everything that we have to offer to be fully pampered. I'm going to walk you through cleansing, exfoliating, right? The entire gig, right? Which is what a C is going to feed into. Do you see how knowing this would really help you? Here's team training, geared towards personality, okay? In-person demo, that's going to be great for your I's or your D's, right? Your I's are going to be like, yes, I want to come. I want to have fun, right? Your D's are going to be like, I'll come, but how long is it going to take? What are we going to do, right? Your S's, though, if they love you and they want to support you, they will absolutely be there. 80% of your team is going to be made up by S's because they're loyal and they love to support, right? Vendor events. Who should be doing vendor events? Probably your IDs because it's quick, fast paced. They're talking to strangers. It's go, go, go. It's boom, boom, boom. It's moving quick, right? Who should be doing, think about your opportunity events. If you have someone from each personality style on your team share, you're speaking to an entire crowd of people and you're able to communicate your D's with their recognitions, your I's with how much fun it is. Your S is going to talk about what it's done for her family, and your C is going to go into full details from A to B about what it's changed in their life, right? You can literally use DISC in every aspect of your business and make your communication that much more effective, right? So lastly, I want to remind you that it takes all types. Don't ever let anyone make you feel like you don't matter. You're going to feel like, oh, well, maybe the D's and the I's, they move faster and they hit ranks faster and things might look easier for them. But the reality is that if you had a team full of D's who all wanted to be the leader, top dog who hits all the ranks, right? You're going to have a lot of bumping heads and you're going to have a lot of angry people because they're all just going to be like bluntly trying to get to the top, right? Stepping on everyone's toes. If you had a team full of I's, you guys would just be sitting around having fun all night. Everyone would just be giggling and laughing and having fun and no work would be getting done, right? If you had a team full of S's, everyone would be terrified on stepping on one another's toes. Like everyone's just going to be like tiptoeing around until someone says, let's go, right? And if you have a team full of C's, everyone's going to be waiting for it to be perfect before they finally take action. Do you see what I'm saying? So it really takes all types. You want to take inventory, first become self-aware, right, of who you are, what style do you typically dominate, and then take inventory of what your current team is or your current customer base if you don't feel like building a team, and recognize where you're lacking, okay? If you have a team of 5 people, how many D's do you have? How many I's do you have? How many S's do you have? How many C's do you have? And then figure out ways that you can help them step into what they do best so that they can be utilized in a manner that they feel important, right? If you make people feel important, they will stay. So learning DISC communication is huge. It can really change your entire business. It can change your entire life. If you learn to effectively communicate with people in a way that they need to be communicated with, you can go so far in so many different aspects of your life. So I hope this has been beneficial to you tonight and that you got something from value from it. So drop me some hearts in the comments if you got value, tag your friends, tag your Sisters, because I truly believe that DISC profile can be a game changer for you and your business and your future team and your customers and your family and all the things. Okay, that's all. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in tonight and you all have a wonderful evening. Bye.